Sign my cookie.
All right, I would like to call to order the December 18th Policy Subcommittee meeting. Roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Present.
Member Reed?
Present.
Member Satterwhite?
Present.
All right, so first on the agenda is Policy JEB, which is our entrance age. And presenting this tonight, we have Jackie Gallo and Charlie Gallo. Come on down. Gallo.
Policy.
So very tough acts to follow in terms of the music and the tribute, so please wish us luck.
You're going to do great.
Thank you.
Right.
All right. So good evening, Subcommittee Chairperson Dugan, Subcommittee members Satterwhite and Reed, and I want to briefly just congratulate this policy subcommittee on all of its work. Since January 2024, post the mask overhaul, the three of you have reviewed approximately 60 different policies, whether they be revocations, amendments, revisions, substantive changes, non-substantive changes, brand new policies. That's quite a lot. So I will miss working with you very much, Chairperson Dugan and Rep. Reed, and thank you. And we'll look forward to continuing to work with you, Member Satterwhite. The vote that I'm going to ask you for tonight is one that will be really important in terms of making a difference to our young families in Lynn. And so it's a great cap, I think, to this policy subcommittee's hard work over the past term. Good evening also, Mayor, Madam Vice Chair, members of the school committee as a whole, Superintendent Cohen, and members of the administration. For the record, Lynn Public Schools Compliance Officer Charlie Gallo, and with me is Jackie Gallo, Director of Early Learning. We're here tonight not just with a shared last name, but also a shared effort. And compliance is acting as a drafting partner, and Jackie is really the substantive, the vision, representing a policy proposal tonight that will expand high-quality early learning. We're talking about expanding pre-kindergarten access to general education 3-year-olds in Lynn. So this is a really exciting project to be working on. As always, there's a team behind the scenes, and there are multiple facets of this going on. But from the beginning, Superintendent Cohen has rolled up her sleeves on this, in addition to Deputies Fritz and Loof. Shinji, the superintendent's fellow from Harvard, has worked hard on this, and the mayor's office have been great partners, Danier in particular. Special education has a component in this, and so Dr. Colella and Attorney Meinalt, as well as the Welcome Center, Yvette and Nixidia, have had a part in this as well, and just want to acknowledge the team behind the scenes. This is your current entrance age policy. And I want to highlight a couple of provisions for you. The first provision is the Early Childhood Program, 2.9 years of age. What that is referencing is students who are attending pre-kindergarten on the basis of an IEP because they have a qualifying disability, and then pre-kindergarten program 4 years of age. And so what that anticipates is that only 4-year-old students would be eligible for the lottery seats, the general education seats in pre-K. What we're doing tonight is really exciting. As you can see by my graphic here, we're paving the way, and we're paving the way for opportunity and access, first of all, to all 4-year-olds via lottery, and then with any extra seats we're proposing a policy change to expand to 3-year-olds to enter the lottery as general education students. In proposing these policy changes, we look to the Mask model policy and some other districts, primarily Lowell, Cambridge. We also look to Boston, which is doing something similar as we're proposing tonight. And so in front of you, you have a draft entrance age policy, and I'll go through it, but I want to highlight a couple provisions in particular. There's no substantive change to the entry for grade 1 and kindergarten. That is, you turn 6 or 5 prior to September 1st. But here come the changes that we're proposing tonight. Children who will be 4 years of age prior to September 1st of the year during which they wish to enroll will be eligible to seek admission to pre-kindergarten preschool. And so what that means is that the lottery will be open to all 4-year-old students, and we hope that one day there will be access for all 4-year-old students in the Lynn Public Schools. And then with seats that are not filled by 4-year-olds, children who will be 3 years of old may be eligible to enter that lottery. And so that's why we have the may be eligible to seek admission language for our 3-year-old students, the idea being that if there are extra seats, and there are currently, that we could expand pre-K, and this would make a great difference in the lives of our young students and young families. Finally, the last provision is the IEP provision that takes the place of the 2.9 language. This is a lot more artfully drafted and was done in consultation with Dr. Colella and Attorney Meinelt. Jackie Gallo is going to take us through the vision, the reasons, and at the end of this, we'll take any questions, and we also have a proposed motion for your consideration. And thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. So, can you hear me okay? So the purpose of this proposal, like Charlie said, is to request approval to include 3-year-olds in the district preschool lottery application process. Our goal is to expand equitable access to inclusionary preschool opportunities while also strengthening program quality, stabilizing enrollment, and ensuring alignment with broader district initiatives. Currently, our preschool programming operates in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, specifically 603 CMR 28, Special Education, which requires districts to ensure developmentally appropriate, specially designed programs for eligible children ages 3 and 4. Within this framework, we offer 2 primary settings, substantially separate classrooms, which primarily serves children with IEPs in small group learning environments, and inclusionary classrooms, which serves students both with and without IEPs. So including 3-year-olds in the lottery supports high-quality integrated classrooms. Many of our students with IEPs are age 3, and having typically developing peers the same age would support social skills development, inclusive learning, and meeting least restrictive environment goals. This also allows for more developmentally aligned groupings, such as 3 turning 4-year-old classrooms and 4 turning 5-year-old classrooms, which leads to more targeted instruction, improved classroom management and support, and greater consistency for teachers and families. This also really is an ideal time, or like opportune time, for this change, as it aligns closely with our current early childhood grant initiatives. Including 3-year-olds in the application process improves the recruitment pipeline for the Commonwealth Preschool Partnership Initiative, which strengthens districts' partner alignment. And it also provides families with earlier connections to district services and supports smoother transitions and stronger data sharing. In addition, this change aligns with the work happening with the PRISM grant that Kelsey Bartlett and Michelle Winslow presented on last month, and they've been leading the good work around early literacy. So the PRISM grant is supporting curriculum review and adoption for preschool right now, and with an opportunity to create more age-aligned classrooms, we can strengthen instructional planning, improve assessment consistency, and support fidelity as we implement district-wide curriculum. And then lastly, just real quick, some, from an operational standpoint, enrollment priority will continue to rest with 4-year-olds. 3-year-olds would only be placed on, once the 4-year-old waitlist has been fully exhausted. This approach ensures we're not displacing children who need access before kindergarten, and while still allowing our program flexibility to fill under-enrolled classrooms, which can happen sometimes in our half-day programs. And just as important, we will communicate this clearly to families, being transparent about the priority order and placement based on available seats. Any questions?
Yep, Member Pena, and then Member Reed.
Okay. So, thank you for the presentation. So, just to get a clarification, you've heard of the late starters, how some kids have a birthday after September 4th? Now, will this kind of like, so, is there an age where they're not eligible for kindergarten because they turned 5 after September? Will this eliminate that gap? Because it makes them eligible to be on the waiting list? Is that what I'm trying to get? Is that the clarification with this new policy?
So for preschool, so they'll be, they need to be 3 prior to September 1st.
Yeah.
Or 4 prior to September 1st.
So if a child is, let's say if a child's 4, he's in pre-K, then he turns 5 after September 1st, he's not eligible for kindergarten? No, still, we still have that gap, yeah. 'Cause that's an issue that I always get a call. What, my child's birthday's after September 1st, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. But,
But this, hopefully, having like the 2 kind of separate groups would help us with like curriculum and targeting more instruction. So like students could be in pre-K for a couple years and wouldn't have the same,
so they're not gonna, like, age out, right?
not until
So,
they're
yeah,
old
at
enough for
5, yeah.
kindergarten, yes.
I think,
Can I just jump in there, because it's a great question. I think in part because of the expansion of pre-K seats, there should be more of the students that are in that position that while they wouldn't qualify for kindergarten, there would be a pre-K slot for them, right?
Yeah.
So at least there's.
so, yeah, it'll be kind of expanding until they age out.
Right, so the goal of this expansion is to get, all 4-year-olds access to pre-K, and I think a sort of corollary to that is we now have a reason to have seats for 3-year-olds, but it's because of that increased access. But so the scenario where someone is turning 5 after September 1 and doesn't have anywhere to go will hopefully not be something that comes up often because we have the seats at the pre-K level.
Yeah. Thank you.
Member Reed.
Thank you. This is awesome, obviously. I know there's a lot of variables and tough math, but is there any approximation how many more seats, or I guess how many more opportunities it could create?
It would vary
Yeah.
year to year. So, and it's also each year, our programming shifts depending on the needs of our students with IEPs. So like, right now we have quite a few half-day programs that it's a little harder to fill those lottery seats with the 4-year-olds. Because they might have found, something full day in another program. So that's, it might be very limited seats for the 3-year-olds, but it's still, it would be better to fill them than to have them open.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to build on that, because clearly, this policy change doesn't in itself add seats, right? What we're saying, we've added so many seats, there's now a reason to make this policy change because there could be potential seats where that would meet the needs of a 3-year-old, so.
Member Castellanos, did I see your hand?
Yeah. Thank you so much for the presentation. This is exciting. Very grateful for all the work that's been put into this. I've seen it since I've been here for 8 years. I remember the idea. So to see it come into fruition and to see everyone over the years just stay so persistent on this, and you guys really, everyone from even the previous superintendents to the mayor before that, like this has been very well executed, and thank you. My question is around student to staff ratios. What is the range, and as we increase, as we have increased seats, what is the recommended like ratios? Like what's the target range around that? Because I know, the need's there. So I just want to know what that's going to look like in a healthy, obviously, classroom setting.
Sure. So there are different programs in preschool. We have like the small group learning program, that's all students in the program are on IEPs, and the ratio is 9 students. In a full day program, it's 1 teacher and 3 paras. And in a half day small group learning program, it would be 1 teacher and 2 paras. And then it kind of, it varies from there. So because we're trying to move to more inclusion type settings, we have multiple different models. Like we have integrated, that's one teacher, 1 para to 15 students. Then we also have inclusion, which is 1 teacher, 1 para to 20 students. So there's a few different models. Depending on the needs of the students with IEPs. Does that answer your question?
It does. So if we include 3-year-olds, how does that integrate? How do we integrate the 3-year-olds with the?
So it would still be the same program models.
Okay.
It's only if we can't fill the seats with the 4-year-olds. So the program model won't necessarily change. What we try to do is when we have students with IEPs that are 3, we try to put them in the half-day program, saving kind of the full-day programs for the 4-year-olds unless there's a special need that they need the full-day program. So it would really be, the hope is that the half-day programs would be mostly 3-year-olds, and then having like a peer model from the lottery that's 3 in those half-day programs.
That helps. And just my last question is just some clarification around the lottery process itself. Could you guys kind of walk me through what that actually entails as someone who, maybe if your child might be on that cuff, how to prepare for the lottery? I guess, can you just kind of give us some insight into that?
Sure. So we're in process right now working with Power School. Yvette Martinez and the Welcome Center has been a huge support in this. So we've, we're kind of shifting gears a little bit, going through Power School this year. So we're working on the application, and it should be ready. We kind of waiting on this decision tonight, but we are hoping to post the application early January, and that'll be open until March. So what happens is after March 2nd, there's like a pause, and we do a computer-generated lottery, so all the applicants kind of get mixed up and get placed in a certain order. Parents or families can still apply after the lottery is completed, and they're just placed on a wait list. So when we receive the lottery awards, we just kind of place an order of availability. We do try to place the students in programs that are close to their home, but because we don't have preschool in every elementary school, it's a little challenging. And then sometimes as the seats are filling up, it's kind of, this is what we have left, because it's a true lottery. And we do try to do the full day first, and then we do the half day placements, unless there are families that prefer half day.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Member Gately.
Thank you for your presentation. As I was reading through it, the only question I had was, will including the 3 to 4-year-olds take away from any spots? And then you answered it in the PowerPoint. And to boot, you gave us the motion. I just love this presentation. Thank you very, very much. And I'm glad for all the students, because it's wonderful that they have an idea of what's going to be happening. 3rd grade, 3-year-olds can go to school, and the 4-year-olds are already having the spots first, and then they'll get filled in. It's really good to clarify that for our parents, and I thank you very much.
Member Gately, make the beloved motion.
Oh, I'm not on the committee.
Oh, yeah. Well, I make the motion to accept the proposed entrance age policy, JEB, and move to the full committee.
Second.
Second.
Motion's been made, second. Roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Okay. All right, we have one more policy on the, oh, thank you, Jackie Gabbard, for that. That was great, great presentation. One more policy on the agenda here. We have JFABD, which is homeless children and unaccompanied youth. And Lauren Walsh is going to present us to this. Welcome, Lauren. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having me. Good evening, Subcommittee Chairperson Dugan, Subcommittee members Satterwhite and Reed, Superintendent Cohen, and members of the administration, Mayor Nicholson, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the school committee as a whole. My name is Lauren Walsh. I'm the Assistant Director of Compliance, and I am here tonight to present a cleanup of changes to JFABD, our policy with regard to homeless children and unaccompanied youth. During its 2023 overhaul of the LPS policy manual, MASC actually did not recommend any changes to our policy here. So this is a true cleanup just of some typos and some clarifications. They have their own model policy, which they did not recommend that we implement. They liked our policy better, basically. And so no substantive changes. But we did conduct a review in compliance, and we're just recommending that we change a little bit of the language. So in section 1, the policy notes, I've got the policy up here for you. I think you all also have it in a packet that we provided. In section 1, the policy notes that the homeless education liaison interviews parents and guardians of homeless children and unaccompanied youth at the time of registration. The update to the language would just loosen that up and allow for an interview to occur at the time of registration, but also allow for it to happen at other times if that were necessary, either for the family or for the homeless liaison herself. Also in section 1, the policy currently indicates that the homeless education liaison is a registered nurse and administers immunizations as needed. LPS has actually moved away from the homeless liaison being a registered nurse. At least the last 4 have not been. As well as LPS did administer immunizations to students previously, but hasn't for about the last 5 years. And so this cleanup in language is really just to sort of take away the things that we're not doing anymore from the policy. Homeless children and unaccompanied youth are still set up with services through the policy, so it doesn't really change the mechanism by which we already do what we're doing. It just sort of takes out some outdated language or out of practice that we're not doing. In section 2, there's a typo. So instead of saying living in emergency or transitional shelters are abandoned in hospitals, the new policy would say living in emergency or transitional shelters or abandoned in hospitals, just so that it reads a little bit better. And then again in section 2, it's a technical edit. Unaccompanied youth must be homeless by federal definition, and so removing it from the definition of homelessness just sort of creates a lack of redundancy within the policy. That actually ends my presentation. It's really just a quick cleanup, but any questions that you might have.
Questions from the committee? All right, seeing none, we need a motion.
Make a motion to accept the proposed homeless children and unaccompanied youth policy, JFABD, and move to the full committee.
Second. Roll call, please.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lauren. Seeing no further business, we need a
Motion to adjourn.
second. Roll call.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
All right, policy subcommittee adjourned.
Now head into open mic portion of the evening. The open mic policy is designed to provide an opportunity for citizens to express their views on matters of concern to the school committee. The sessions are not designed to encourage debate or lengthy exchange of views, but are to have the committee understand numerous points of view. The committee would appreciate speakers keeping their presentation in 3 minutes in order to accommodate as many people as time permits. The chair reserves the right to limit the number of speakers on the same topic to 3. All speakers must be at least 18 years of age or enrolled in high school and public schools district and having discussed their views with a student government representative. The chair reserves the right to rule the speaker out of order if they feel that the speaker's comments are personal in nature. If a speaker's comments are directed at a school committee member or a member of school administration in attendance, that member through the chair may address the individual. All right, Stacy Barrett, if you could please state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Stacy Barrett, 17 Shirley Road. I wanted to come tonight as a parent and a public school teacher for Lynn Public Schools to say thank you to Eric Dugan for supporting all Lynn Public Schools teachers throughout his years in the school committee. Eric, you're the only one who ever got back to me every single time with an email. You always requested a phone call so we could touch base, work together, and problem solve. To say that I'm disheartened and disappointed that you were not reelected would be an understatement. I urge the incumbent members of the school committee as well as the newly elected members to follow his example, listen to, have conversations with, and support the educators of the Lynn Public Schools. We are the heart and soul of the district. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else wishing to speak at open mic? Anyone else for open mic? Last call for open mic, and we will close the open mic portion of the evening and move into the second special meeting of the school committee. Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Present.
Member Dugan?
Present.
Member Gately?
Present.
Member Pena?
Present.
Member Reed?
Present.
Member Satterwhite?
Present.
Mayor Nicholson?
Present. For those who are able, please rise for salute to the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence. Allegiance to the flag. Now, a moment of silence in memory of Marilyn J. Scarborough Muse, former teacher, passed away November 16th, 2025. Dorothy E. Healy, retired paraprofessional, November 18th, 2025. Patricia Hourahan, retired administrator, November 21st, 2025. James McGann, retired teacher, November 30th, 2025. And Dr. James T. Leonard, retired superintendent of schools, December 3rd, 2025. Thank you. Next item is the minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the 17th regular meeting on November 13th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's have it. Member Dugan, any votes in the subcommittee?
Yeah, so we had two. So the first was policy JEB, changes to our entrance age. So we did have a motion to move that to the full committee.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes.
And the second policy is JFABD, homeless children and unaccompanied youth. Again, just some changes to the language there. That was moved to the full committee.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes. Next, we have the budget.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the school committee, colleagues, families, and students. I will be reviewing the high-level overview of the budget process for FY27 we discussed in November and diving deeper into the specifics of our strategy this year. I want to thank Kevin McHugh, Business Administrator, and Jamie Colon, Manager of Financial Operations, for joining me in this presentation this evening. This second presentation builds on what we shared earlier and is meant to deepen understanding of how we are approaching the FY27 budget. My goal tonight is transparency, to explain the process, the constraints, and the choices in front of us, not to pre-decide or predetermine any outcomes. The FY27 budget is a blueprint for equity, innovation, and excellence. Together, the city, school committee, and community ensures that every investment leads to meaningful results for Lynn's children. Every decision will be grounded in our values and guiding principles. These values remind us that the budget is a moral document. They reflect what we value, who we prioritize, and how we support students and staff. Our process ensures every dollar advances student achievement and reflects Lynn's shared values of inclusiveness, collaboration, and accountability. The process spans from the fall through the spring of 2026, integrating community voice, fiscal responsibility, and instructional priorities. Tonight, we will go over the timeline that we discussed in November and look at different fiscal scenarios that may present this budget season. I want to be very clear that thoughtful budget development takes time, especially during a leadership transition. Rushing decision creates instability. This process is intentionally paced so we can listen, analyze, and align. This slide integrates our values and our guiding principles in the budget development process. Our values establish what and how we fund our priority areas. Stakeholder input, transparency, shared decision-making, and high expectations will determine the investments that yield clear outcomes for our students. Our budget must directly support our district's strategic priorities, particularly strong instruction, student belonging, multilingual learner success, inclusion, and attendance. If something doesn't advance those goals, we have to question the investment. Here is a visual of collaboration, transparency, and alignment. We're balancing what schools need, what the district can sustain, and what the city can reasonably support. We work closely with principals, central office leaders, and school committee, along with the city. We assess enrollment, staffing needs, efficiencies, and funding requests, all while keeping instructional impact front and center. At this time, I will turn this presentation over to Kevin McHugh, who will take us through an explanation of Chapter 70 funding and the Student Opportunity Act.
Thank you, Molly. Chapter 70 funding is heavily tied to October 1 enrollments. As you can see on the chart, we have experienced fluctuations over time. Even small enrollment changes can significantly impact state aid, which is why enrollment matters so much in our planning. This slide breaks down how Chapter 70 works in 3 basic steps. First, the state calculates what it believes is an adequate foundation budget. Then it determines how much the city should contribute based upon wealth, and the remainder comes from the state. The formula shapes almost every budget decision we make. This chart gives a visual representation of how those 3 steps work. You can see on the total amount of Chapter 7, the actual foundation budget, or as we call it, net school spending, is $384 million. What the state does is determines how much the city can afford is the bottom step, which comes out to $67 million. That's how they start the process. And then they say, okay, that's what the city can afford. We're going to fill in the rest with Chapter 70. And you can see that comes up to be $317 million, which is 82% of the foundation budget. So if we look across the state, we're one of the top districts that's received the most aid. So we've done very well with Chapter 70 funds. So that's just a nice little visual so you can see it a little bit differently than just the words. This visual shows both the foundation budget and the state aid have grown over time, but growth is not guaranteed. This is one reason we are preparing for multiple scenarios rather than assuming best-case outcomes. The Student Opportunity Act has brought critical investments for low-income students, multilingual learners, special education, and guidance services. It's important to note that in FY27, is the final year of the Student Opportunity Act implementation, which raises long-term sustainability questions we must now plan for now. In short, our funding context is shaped by Chapter 70 and the Student Opportunity Act, and those dollars are tied to very specific expectations, including MTSS, high school redesign, dual language expansion. Our goal each year is to use these resources strategically, aligning spending to need and maintaining transparency and stewardship for public funds. Chapter 78 is the state formula ensuring equitable education across communities, and the Student Opportunity Act enhances equity with adjustments for communities like ours who have specialized needs.
Thank you, Kevin. This slide outlines the realities driving cost increases. So as you can see, we have contractual obligations, which are the step increases in the column increases, special education, transportation, utilities, and health insurance. Many of these are non-discretionary and must be funded. They represent real obligations we cannot ignore, even as we try to protect classroom instruction. We are presenting multiple scenarios because transparency matters. Enrollment trends, possible changes in Chapter 70, and the sunsetting of the Student Opportunity Act, along with our new school increases, all create uncertainty. Planning for only one outcome would be irresponsible. We're looking at 3 potential paths: a level service budget, a systems investment budget, and reduced Chapter 70 scenario. None are decisions tonight. We do not know what the future holds. These are tools to help us understand the trade-offs. When we look at the level service budget, this scenario covers the contractual increases and fixed costs, but includes no new investments. Even maintaining services may require reductions elsewhere just to absorb rising costs. The risk here is that level service can still feel like a loss. Potentially larger classes, perhaps fewer interventions, maybe reduced professional development. We may have to delay hiring. We'll know more when we actually have our figures, but that is a potential scenario. Scenario B, systems investment budget, reflects intentional investment in attendance, belonging, family engagement, teacher retention, and staffing for new schools. The systems that stabilize learning and support instruction. These investments are focused and strategic, not add-ons. They support mandatory staffing, instructional priorities, family engagement, and building operations tied directly to student success. Scenario C is the most challenging scenario. If enrollment declines reduce state aid, we face a structural deficit that would require difficult reductions. These consequences are real and serious. Staff reductions, fewer programs, increased strain on multilingual and special education supports, and deeper inequities. This is why careful planning matters. At this time, we do not believe this is the direction the state will go in. We just want to educate the public on what reduced Chapter 70 would mean. No matter the scenario, there are non-negotiables. Core instruction, teacher retention, multilingual and specialized program supports, special education services outside of the district, attendance systems, and safe, well-run schools. That is what we will protect. And I will also mention that 82% of our budget is staff. Staff is the priority focus on any of our budget. That will always be what we try to protect first and foremost. Budget timeline snapshot, this is what I've shared before. This is just a visual, oh, sorry. Did I get out of order here?
One behind. One more.
Thank you, thank you.
No, I think the slide's one.
No, the slide is wrong, thank you. This slide just shows where we're headed, the state and city input, school committee review, public hearing, final approval. The height of this process spans January through April, integrating community voice, fiscal responsibility, and instructional priorities. And then The input is what's most important to us this year in particular. This process includes voices from across the community, families, educators, advisory councils, and school leaders. Their input will help ensure the budget reflects real needs. As I mentioned in November, meeting these next few months are the busiest time of the process. This is the time that stakeholders help us form the budget proposals to ensure all departments reflect Lynn's shared values of inclusiveness, collaboration, and accountability. The principals and the directors who are building their own budget proposals will be reaching out to their stakeholders, and then in January, we'll have an open forum for budget to invite in and voices from the community as well. And so at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Jamie Colon, who will demonstrate what Allaview looks like and how we're using it as a budgeting tool. So I just need to exit.
Good evening. We are introducing Allaview, the platform that supports our shift to student-based budgeting. This model modernizes how we allocate resources by linking dollars directly to students and their needs rather than historical spending. The goal is to provide the district with greater transparency, equity, and flexibility while maintaining fiscal accountability. What is student-based budgeting? Student-based budgeting starts with a base allocation for every student. Additional funding is provided for students with greater needs, such as English language learners, special education, and low-income students. This approach ensures that funding is equitable, predictable, and transparent across schools. Principals and directors have more visibility into how funding is generated and more flexible in how it is used to support student need. Allaview has three main functions: allocate, which allocates dollars using formulas; budget, which principals and directors work to enter their budget; and manage, which is day-to-day transactions and spending. In the allocate function, every school receives mandatory base staffing. Staffing looks like one principal per school, one clerk per 400 students, and a student-to-teacher ratio. These positions are non-negotiable to ensure baseline operational support in every building. Allocation rules can be adjusted based on enrollment, programming, and unique building needs such as specialized special education program. This balances consistency district-wide with responsiveness to school-level needs. The budget function is where the principals and directors will see their total allocated fundings. The staffing is preloaded to reduce manual work and ensure accuracy. If there are excess funds, school leaders have autonomy to reallocate dollars to meet building priorities, and any funding overages must be justified, reinforcing responsible and intentional budgeting. Under manage, Allaview allows schools to manage budgets in real time. Leaders can view original and revised budgets, track transfers in and out, monitor actual expenditures as they post, review purchase orders and invoices tied to their budgets. This creates ongoing visibility, not just a one-time budget submission. We've already completed multiple training sessions in October and December to support principals and directors. Today's working session allowed leaders to log in and begin the budget entry process with hands-on support. Budget development will continue through January, followed by clear vetting and an approval process. Once principals and directors submit their budget, it will go to their partner deputy, then the finance department, and lastly, the superintendent. This shift represents a new system that moves from spending dollars to strategically investing in our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. So in closing, every decision, every dollar, every student, this is our responsibility as stewards of public trust. The intention of several FY27 budget process meetings and presentations is to ensure we are being transparent, responsible, and student-centered so that every dollar does truly advance student achievement and reflect Lynn's shared values of inclusiveness, collaboration, and accountability. Tonight, I reviewed with you the timeline and the fiscal context. As we move forward in the budget process, we will fill in the details as the proposals from principals and directors come into us, and we will begin to take shape in a comprehensive LPS budget proposal. Thank you. Questions?
Member Gailey, Member Castellanos.
This one is for Kevin, Mr. McHugh. I asked you a question earlier this week. I had to call you because there was a question how if someone gets a grant deposited into their school, how can they use that? So could you just go over that for the public so that teachers in elementary schools and middle schools and high school, they understand, I know from my point of view in the high schools that they would have, I had a club and the club would put money into that and I could just get that. I would have a checkbook. But I'm hearing that that isn't happening and I just want to make sure that that is happening. And for the elementary school, you mentioned that they had to write what was the word? If they wanted something, say, an elementary school had put money into the account.
So it's really, as you're aware, we have two methods. One, all middle and high school have student activity accounts. Okay, they actually have a checking account.
Yes.
Money gets deposited. They had to be set up properly through the city hall because we use the same banking systems the city uses. They all get set up, and then money gets deposited, and then they can write checks. All right, so that's at the high school. If they get a grant, or an elementary school gets a grant, those funds come here. They get deposited the same way through the city, but they're set up as a grant for that school. And then they have to go through the munis procedure of doing a requisition for a purchase order. And then once the purchase order is created, they go by the information, gets sent to the vendor, and then they can get this stuff sent to the school. Then we pay the invoice. So really, if the school doesn't have a student activity account, the elementary, not elementary, because it's really not a lot. It's either set up as a grant or it's set up as a donation account, which is the same as a grant. So they would have to go through the procedure of putting the funds into an account, and they don't have checks to write. So we have to go through, like we do for every other expenditure that's in your budget. We do a purchase order, then the purchase order is sent to the vendor sends us the materials, then we get the invoice and pay the invoice through the city. So those are the two methodologies of going through
So
it.
would we be able to track that through Ellerview in the personal school, like we could?
Not this year, because we're at the base, this is the first year we're starting, and even the Ellerview people say, you gotta start small, because it can get very complicated, and when we're going through, so the grants are not going to be in here this year.
Okay.
Eventually, we can start doing that, but that's down the road. They're just saying, get the budget up, your basic appropriation budget up and working, and that's the goal for this year, which we're working on.
Okay, and Jamie's going to help you with it.
She's been very, very helpful, and she's actually taken the lead on this project, which is great, and she's been very helpful to go through this.
Thank you, Jamie.
Member Castellanos.
Thank you so much for the presentation and really just developing just a very clear scope of the fiscal operation of how this works. You guys definitely laid out very clear steps on what we're trying to accomplish here. I do have just some clarification questions for impact assessments. So are impact assessments going to be conducted just as we meet? Like the impact assessments are going to be generated through, I believe, Kevin McHugh, Mr. McHugh, is that going to be through will you be having conversations with priorities? Because I feel like there's things that might pop up in terms of needs that might be, like each school might vary. So, so is it based off the principals?
Right. So the process is in January. The principals and directors present to the executive leadership team. We want the members of executive leadership at the table because there are varying needs special education needs vary, cell needs vary. We have itinerant positions across the city, and they present to us what are their needs based on their enrollment. The discussion then comes in the second iteration when we've taken in all of the different proposals. Our focus, though, is on priority area 1, strengthening the instructional core with culturally and linguistically responsive practices. 4, which is inclusion and belonging, and 5, shared accountability, ensuring that we're responding to the data that we're evaluating and assessing. So that development process happens with multiple iterations. The purpose of our meetings here is to report back to you what that is starting to form like, and also having one-on-one conversations with you. Right now, we don't know what the budget numbers are because we won't have the governor's numbers until late January and probably city numbers until February. So we presented this to the district leaders and to the principals to have these 3 frames, lenses, as they approach their budget. So if we were to have a system level budget, how would they approach that? But they should be thinking in terms of somewhat with a bit of a scarcity lens. They have to be flexible. What are the things in terms of priorities that would go down by the wayside?
So all 3 are prepared, so all 3 budget scenarios are being looked at each school. So every principal and every leader, so that's great.
Yeah, they won't,
get
I
it
don't
back to
want,
you.
I actually gave them sort of like a percentage of brain space.
Yeah.
I said, I really would only put a 10% space on the Chapter 70 reductions. We don't anticipate that. There's been a few forecasts. We don't believe that decline enrollment will lead to a massive financial crisis for us. But the world is, we don't have a magic ball, and so we said a crystal ball rather. So we said just have that in the back of your mind. So if in an event that we would have to pivot. But I want them thinking way ahead of what could happen to be prepared.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
That's just a comment. It's very transparent. So this is very appreciate the transparency on this. Very transparent. So, and it's really important to folks in the room that this is a very transparent, very updated looking process. I've done this for 8 years. This is phenomenal. So thank you for all the leadership on this.
Yeah, and if I may, Brian, Member Castellanos, to respond to that, and I'm looking out at the audience and I'm looking at the camera, this is our budget. There's not a your side, our side. This is our budget that reflects our priorities, and that's why the stakeholder involvement is incredibly important. So thank you.
Ms. Satterwhite.
So I just have a couple questions general about the student-based budgeting. What's the definition of a low-income student? Is it different from what is used by federal government?
No, there's an actual
Yeah.
calculation, that's a formula. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. And then just lastly, what about the out-of-district needs for some of our students? Is it gonna be like centralized or attached to the school in their district?
Oh, in Allenview, that's a good question. The added district really falls under the SPED department, which is not, or you're talking about out of district placements? Yeah, that would fall right under the SPED department, not attached to a school.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you for the presentation and all the work that went into it, and everybody. Thank you in advance for all the input and discussion. I'm looking forward to working through this with you all over the course of the next few months. And in addition to those updates, it's worth noting that we're under the new charter now for the city, which has a different timeline, which is part of where these goals are for the calendar come from to be able to maintain that. So looking forward to working with you all on all that. Next item is a request to accept donations. It's a recommendation of the superintendent.
Oh, yes, I'm recommending to please accept this donation. The 2,000 for the Cummings Community Giving Award to Ford Elementary for grade 3 classrooms.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The same for the.
Okay, yes, another miscellaneous donation to Classical High School Trade Scholarship totaling $400.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, we're also looking for you to accept the books from the GE Aerospace Book Drive. Recipient schools are to be determined.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you to the donors for those generous donations. We appreciate it. I think we would entertain here a motion to amend the agenda to move communications up.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you. So you'll notice there are two letters there under communication. The North Shore Collaborative 2025 Annual Report. I just want to call your attention to this document that's inside your packets. And any questions that you may have, please reach out to us. This is just an annual report, and we'll be sharing the budget in the spring when their budget comes out. So thank you very much for that. And now, December. To start, I'm excited to highlight some news in the department update document that you will find in your school committee packets. I'd like to send you off into the holiday season with some things worth celebrating. Our amazing all-city band had the honor of performing at the holiday tree lighting at the State House, earning high praise from Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll. It was a moment of great pride for LPS. I'd also like to thank the mayor for joining us in Boston on a very cold evening to support these talented student musicians, so thank you. More than 600 of our high school juniors got an education in managing money at the Credit of Life Fair at LVTI. The support of this event is to help students to develop personal budgeting skills that they will use throughout their lives. Thanks to the Institution for Savings Bank for sponsoring and the coordination and organization of our Assistant Director of History, Kristen Tobacco. That was also a fantastic event. I had the chance to visit with student council members at the Aborn School who wrote letters to the mayor and city council asking that the city take steps to slow down traffic on Eastern Avenue. So I'm going to repeat that to anybody who's driving up and down Eastern Avenue. We have some very concerned fourth grade members of our community who would like you to slow down as you drive down Eastern Avenue. These letters were very thoughtful and well written, and I'm hoping that they'll have an impact on the traffic on Eastern Avenue. In keeping with the theme of partnership, we appreciate the many community partners who support our efforts to provide students with more than just an outstanding academic experience. This week, Old Neighbor Foods, in conjunction with the United Ways Community Schools program, donated nearly 10,000 pounds of their famous meat products to families and staff at the Washington STEM and Ford schools. We are very appreciative to Mr. DeMarcus and that organization. In other news from the department report, I'd like to share that iReady Professional Learning is coming for grades K through 10. The goal is to provide on-site support across schools focusing on middle-of-year diagnostic preparation, student growth, data analysis, and utilizing instructional resources within iReady to enhance student success. The special ed department has expanded professional development opportunities for teachers, including Foundations of Inclusive Practices, which refers to instructional and behavioral strategies that improve academic and social emotional outcomes for students with and without disabilities in general education settings, and a policy and procedure course that provides teachers with practical knowledge and skills to effectively manage the responsibilities of case management. Thank you to Dr. Colella and her team. The MLE department has met 2 major DESE tiered focused monitoring deadlines. On November 3rd, MLE submitted extensive documentation to DESE, including 6 years of evidence related to professional development, Title III funding, and family supports and engagement. On December 8th, MLE completed and submitted ESL SEI schedules in preparation for DESE's formal classroom observations scheduled for April 7th, 2026. So thank you to Executive Director Laura Sanchez and her team. The Human Resources Department will be sending stayer surveys to staff in various stages of their careers in LPS to gather feedback from teachers who choose to stay in Lynn Public Schools to help us better understand what is working well and what most influences retention. So thank you to Executive Director April Reed and her team. And finally, the Innovation and Grants Department completed 2 Part A applications for Innovation Career Pathways at City Arts and Sciences Academy, otherwise known as CASA, for Information and Computer Sciences and Advanced Manufacturing. These pathways, when fully developed, provide a career-connected path to advanced coursework and a 100-hour internship in these fields of study. The department also completed 2 Part A applications for Lynn Classical and Lynn English in the field of business technology. Thank you to Dr. Shannon Gardner and her team. In closing, I just want to thank all the dedicated and committed staff, community partners, students, and families who work hard every day to make our district the best it can be. As we meet for the last time this calendar year, I want to wish all school committee members and LPS students, families, administrators, and staff the very best for a happy and healthy holiday season and an enthusiastic nod toward 2026. And if I may have the last word, I just want to personally thank Member Reed and Member Dugan for welcoming me onto this team with open arms. I will always appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you so much. If someone wants to make a motion and read these items, that'd be great.
I make a motion to move into executive session for purpose 3, MGL, Chapter 30A, 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares in order to provide the committee with an update to potential Massachusetts Commission Against Discrimination litigation and pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to discuss strategy in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, the Administrator of Special Education and Executive Director.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes.
Thank you, Sean.
Member Castellanos?
Yes.
Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena? Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes. In executive session, we voted to give the raises for the administrator of special education, executive directors, mirroring the cost of living adjustments in the collective bargaining agreements. Is there a motion to?
Motion.
Okay.
So
Motion made,
moved.
And then seconded by?
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Member Castellanos? Member Dugan?
Yes.
Member Gately?
Yes.
Member Pena?
Yes.
Member Reed?
Yes.
Member Satterwhite?
Yes.
Mayor Nicholson?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.